afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and this is Charter Moms Chats on the Road. We're at CAST Med, which is a school in the CAST Schools Network. It's also an SAISD choice school, and I get to visit to see the students doing a real-life activity. And one of the great things about CAST schools is that they always put their students forward. They are the best ambassadors for their school. So, but first, I want to talk to the principal of CAST Med, so Dr. Anthony Khosravi, and it's good to see you again. I know you've been to our School Discovery Day events, but it's really, thank you for hosting me at your school.
Oh, well, we're really excited to have you, Inga. Thank you to all our San Antonio Charter Moms audience and participants. We've always enjoyed the events. We feel like it's a great partnership since we are a choice school. But we're really glad you're here. CAST Med High School is a medically focused school here in SAISD. We're one of 6 CAST schools across the city. Our particular school focuses on helping students get ready for biomedical science, the medical field, and even public health administration. So depending on whatever interest they have in medicine, we try to jumpstart their career, their college focus, whatever it might be. So we're really excited.
That's great. I want to highlight, so today on our social media channels at SA Charter Moms, we've been highlighting our enrollment guide to CAST schools, and that has more detailed explanations about, because there's unique learning models at each CAST campus, including like ALA, which is like project-based learning, and but the CAST high schools, right, like CAST Med, so it's grades 9 through 12, and students can apply, like, so current 8th graders can be thinking about applying for next year when open enrollment starts, which hasn't started yet, but just join the Facebook group. We'll talk all about when open enrollment starts.
Yeah.
And then, so what kinds of things should students look for at CAST Med experiences, like different than maybe like a comprehensive high school?
So I think the framework of our schools is a little different. We are designed to be a little smaller than most comprehensive schools. This allows us to have a little deeper connection and relationship with our students. All of our teachers know our students by their names, that they're not just overrun classrooms. We also are very interested in the individual plan for every student. Some want to be surgeons and have these high profile positions that they're interested in. Others are looking more at tech jobs, or they want to secure some certifications so that they can start their career right after graduating high school. We tend to tailor our focus and instruction to what they need and just get them ready for whatever they think their next step is. So I think that's different. Most CAST schools having that conversation with students is really important. It makes them feel like they own their own education.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that CAST schools does, I think, to be responsive to the needs of the San Antonio economy is like identifying what are these areas in the workforce that students need to be prepared for, right? And CAST schools have a lot of connections with local employers who send community members to meet with students and offer that mentorship, or like invite the students to come outside of the campus and get some work experience and picture themselves in some of these jobs that they could do after they graduate or after they go to college.
Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, we have experiences with Mission Trail Baptist, which is right here in Brooks. Our UIW Osteopathic School of Medicine is another partner with us. Our students not only learn within the classroom, but then we kind of go beyond the walls and take them to see colleges, see clinics, see universities, see surgeries that normally, it's an experience no student would get at, in 9th grade or 10th grade. And so it really kind of opens their eyes to what the possibilities are for themselves. And then sometimes it just kind of redefines what they were hoping to complete. When they find out what an actual job entails, sometimes they might be more passionate about going after it, and sometimes they might redesign their life as they move forward. So either way, I think the idea of us using our community members and our professional leaders to help them with that exploration is really special.
Yeah, well, I think that's really important. The feedback we've gotten from families is that, these kids have been through a lot, right? Like, they had experienced Zoom school, right? For these kids, it would have been in middle school, right? It was a really critical time for their social emotional development, learning how to function in teams, and they had to do all that virtually. And, hard for them to picture themselves out in the world if they haven't had those real life experiences.
Right.
So this is a way to get kids re-engaged with learning. Like you talk about like small groups and one-on-one attention, and they about talking about their plan and what they hope to do in the future.
Yeah, and I think part of that is the way in which we provide our instruction. So not only are we interested in being face to face, right? That seems to be the new return to a normal. While we are in person, we also want to ensure that they're doing something active, and that there's something that drives their imagination and creates this questioning that's way higher order than filling out a worksheet. So we actually find ourselves inside of our Principles of Biomedical Science classroom right now, and our students are engaging in a DNA extraction lab. And so I'd like for us to take an opportunity to kind of see what they're working on, and what is it about our particular instruction that makes us a little different. Cameron Stanley is our instructor, and I want him to kind of give us a sneak peek of what our students are going to show us as part of the lab. Hey, Mr. Stanley, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Hi, I'm Cameron Stanley. I'm a Principles of Biomedical Science teacher here at CASMed, among other things. Today, our students are doing an experiment where they are extracting DNA from a strawberry. This is kind of an over-encompassing part of our curriculum where we started with a forensics investigation of a person who passed away, and then we studied their fingerprints, we studied hair samples, we studied DNA evidence, or we're doing DNA evidence now. We looked at social media. And so we're using that kind of case as a vehicle to do all these explorations within biomedical science. So here we've just added our extraction buffer, and we're filtering out, getting a kind of slurry that's going to contain all that DNA. And then after that step, we're going to create a polar, non-polar boundary that kind of cause that DNA to precipitate and isolate within the isopropyl alcohol that we're going to add.
Okay, so what was in the bag was just strawberries?
Strawberries, and then we added some soap. So we started with whole strawberries, we mashed them up. That's going to break down the cell walls. We added some what's called our extraction buffer. It's water, soap, and salt, and that's going to allow the nuclear membrane to open up and allow our DNA to kind of release from the cell. And then we're going to be able to actually see it once we do the isolation.
Cool. Okay. Well, maybe can I talk to some of the students about the? Okay. All right. Okay. Rafael, can you do that? Okay. Great. Okay. So okay. So first of all, can you say your name and what grade level you're at CASMed?
I'm Rafael Monterosa, and I come here at CASMed High School, and I'm a sophomore.
Okay. Cool. And what are you? What's sort of the context about, so your teacher mentioned that it's in the context of like a forensic investigation, and that DNA is one of the aspects. So what have you learned about DNA and how that's relevant to forensics?
Well, everyone has their own DNA strand, and so we are trying to extract that DNA. That way we're able to look at that and see what kind of unique pattern that is in order to find out who is the culprit that we are.
Okay, cool. But you're just practicing on strawberries instead of actual criminals. Bad strawberries. Okay. Do you have a sense of what career path you're interested in related to medicine?
Yes, I'm very interested in medical fields. My mom had said this school was an amazing opportunity. They have various internships that we can go through, and I know they're very connected with the UT Health, so that is something that is amazing about the school.
Yeah, well, that's great. Okay, well, Rafael, thank you. Let me ask one of your classmates. Okay, who's next? Is it Paulina?
Yes.
Okay, so Paulina, if you could say your name and then tell us what grade level you're at CASMed.
Well, I'm Paulina Garcia, and I'm a sophomore here at CASMed.
Cool. Okay. So, I guess let me ask a similar question to what I asked Rafael. So, do you have a special interest related to medicine, or where you see yourself going down the road?
Yeah. So this is kind of embarrassing, but ever since I was young, my mom had me hooked on Grey's Anatomy. Yes. Yes. So ever since then, I've been interested in the medical field. I see myself wanting to pursue a career in pediatric surgery. I like working with children, but I also like the idea of surgery as well. So.
Okay, so off topic, but my in-laws live catty corner from the house that was the exterior of Meredith's house.
Wow, that's cool.
So, yes. I have a selfie with the house whenever I go visit my in-laws. So, but no, I mean that's as good a reason as any. But then when you come to CASMed, you can get like more practical experience, right?
So seeing it through a screen.
Yeah.
And like hands-on, you see, you learn as well. Like you're watching Grey's Anatomy, you're like, what does that even mean? And then I came here and I was like, oh, I know that word.
That's cool. Is there a particular class you've had so far at CASMed that you feel like is like pointing you in the right direction of things you want to build on?
Med-term, definitely. You need to have the foundations, and my teacher, Dr. Jacobs, she's a doctor, or she has her doctorate, so she's a nurse, and she has first-hand experience, so I think that's really a great way to learn as well. And so for the medical field, you need to know your medical terminology, and it's like learning a whole different language, so it's kind of difficult, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you can start learning that stuff even in high school. Because, like, I remember my brother-in-law cramming for the MCAT, and he's just out. So, yeah, good deal. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything you wanted to share, like, I don't know, advice for, like, maybe 8th graders who are thinking about what they want to do for high school? Like sort of advantages of the program that they should think about?
Well, CastMed has great networks, great supporters, and they have great internship opportunities. And I personally am with the Volker Biomedical Research Academy, which is an internship for throughout the summer for biomedical sciences. And I found that I learned a lot, and it's great. And I feel like I wouldn't have gotten the chance to join that internship if it wasn't for CastMed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, great. Okay, so now you get to pick a friend to bring up. Who's next? Awesome. Thank you, Pauline.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, so can you tell us your name and what grade? Are you also a sophomore?
Yes, I'm sophomore.
Okay. Can you speak Jaylin? Jaylin. Okay, great. Okay, well, so can you tell us more about the DNA activity? What do you think is going to happen next with this red stuff?
All the strawberries in fall, and we're gonna pour the alcohol and gather the DNA from the alcohol.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, are you interested in forensics, or do you have like other interests related to medicine?
Yeah, actually, we're pharmacists.
Oh, cool. Yeah. No, that's a really important job. I think we all learned during the pandemic like how essential folks like nurses or doctors or pharmacists are for keeping us all healthy. So, yeah. Well, is there a favorite aspect about we haven't talked as much about student life? Are there activities that students get to do?
Actually, we have a lot of activities. Last year we went to HB camp.
I'm sorry?
An HB camp?
Oh, HEB camp. Awesome. Oh, okay. Oh, is that out at the Hill Country?
Yes,
I think so. That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. Okay. I've heard that sometimes CastMed teams up with other CAS schools to have dances. So you can have a slightly bigger group. Maybe that's for bigger kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. Okay. All right. So let's talk to one more student. Do you mind coming closer to the table? Hi. So what's your name? Denise. Okay. And are you also a sophomore?
No, I'm a freshman.
Freshman. Okay. Cool. So this is your first year at CastMed?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how did you and your family find CastMed? What
I found out about CastMed through a high school credit program that I took at Harrison Middle School. They offered high school credits, and my teacher, she was telling me about schools that will help me in what I want to be when I get older. I want to be a registered travel nurse. So she was telling me about 3 different schools that have a medical program that I could get involved with. So CastMed was the number one thing that popped up, and it has med inside of it. So I was like, ooh. And then, I chose this school, and then I got an email saying that I got accepted by Mr. Khosravi. I got so excited. I was like,
yeah, that's a good feeling. Okay, well, what's been? I mean, it's just your first year, but what's your favorite class so far?
I take pathophysiology with Mr. Stanley and biomedics. This class right now, it's fun, and soccer.
Soccer. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
With Mr. Stanley too.
Oh, cool. Okay, and the first one you mentioned was biophysiology. So,
No, pathophysiology.
Oh, pathophysiology. Okay, right. Okay. So you're learning about how different body systems work.
Yeah. Disease in the body.
Right. Okay. Wow. It's I'm thinking about they didn't have that in high school when I was in high school. They didn't have this kind of opportunity. Okay. Well, is there any more thoughts you want to share about CastMed?
No, it's a really good school. Just tell your kids to come here.
Okay, good deal. Okay. All right, hand the mic back to Principal Khosravi.
Yes, thank you so much. So I think, these are the kind of activities and experiences that our students get that make the CAS Fest experience a little different. And each one of our CAS schools kind of share that in their own specific form. CAS STEM, CAS Lead, and the others in ALA as well. But one of the other fascinating experiences we have is our Natamaj table. So this particular table was part of our partnership and collaboration with all of our partners. They support CAS in terms of the network of schools, and sometimes that's through monetary support, it's through support in terms of experiences. I know that one of the students mentioned our relationship with HEB and the HEB campus and their foundation. And so, those are kind of the experiences that are very different, right, when you go to a CAS school. And so, it's funny when our UIW students from the osteopathic school come over, they're marveled that we would have such a piece of technology that usually is reserved for medical school students, and that our students get to work with it inside of their biology classes, inside of this principal's bio class, inside of pathophysiology. And so, some of the advantages to taking an opportunity to look at choice schools and really pick something that tailors to a student's want or desires.
Getting that unique experience.
Yeah, I think so. I think it changes the dynamic of education if a student has a vested interest in their education, and if they really feel like this is going to benefit where I want to go, and I feel like it builds in them agency. I feel like it builds in them a desire to advocate for themselves. I feel like we see that less in students, and then we're very big into high expectations for our students. Allowing them to kind of tailor their needs and communicate to us what is it that we can do to provide them successful milestones. And so, we're a project-based learning school. They choose topics of their interest that are generally tied to the community. What is it that you see as maybe not a problem, but an issue or something that you want to address? The students that look at the healthcare system as a whole in our city find some inequalities with regards to healthcare when it comes to lower socioeconomic neighborhoods, when it comes to language barriers. We're a dual language campus because CAST figured out that citywide, our residents who speak Spanish feel like they don't get adequate health care if their physician doesn't speak the language that they're comfortable in. And so CAST Med hopes to provide some future doctors, some future nurses, some future respiratory techs that not only can provide their services in English, but then also communicate in Spanish to their clients and make them feel like they're getting a healthcare service more designed for them. So we're really proud of our students.
Yeah. So like students who come to CAS Med, like they know they're going to get help on their path towards a career in medicine. But then also, it's not just that they're choosing the school based on their interest, but having the hands-on type of learning means that everything they do is more engaging than just worksheets or just on a Zoom screen or something.
And we have the added bonus where even though we're a young school, we graduated our first senior class last year, and even now we'll hear of their experiences in college, as now they are going through school with other freshmen that have gone to other schools, and they see themselves better prepared, either because they already know how to navigate their way through a higher ed system, because we took them, one of our higher ed partners is Texas A&M University, so our students go to the Texas A&M campus, they take coursework there, they communicate with the professor. We just stand back and help them with regards to support, but we really do lean on them to be advocates of their own educational journey, and that speaks to a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, while every other institution is mainly just telling them what they need. We're asking them some questions that really start making them think a little bit about how they control their life and the decisions they make now, how it impacts their life. And so we find even now in 1 year, our students really being successful either in college or careers.
Right, so you're having higher expectations for them, and you're giving them more freedom to either succeed or fail, but like with enough supervision and support, and so like they get some practice doing college level work, so that when they actually do go to college, they have confidence, like, yes, I can do this, and yes, I've been through something like this before. I know I have this whole team that has faith in me.
Right.
I can make it.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? When you said it, it's just enough support to encourage them. When someone does stumble, either it's academically or socially, the idea is we're there to pick them up, but then have a conversation with regards to how do we redirect ourselves, what's our next step, how we learn from our experiences and we move forward. And those are the kind of connections and relationships that I think are unique with regards to special schools.
Yeah. Well, good. Okay. Well, so I always make sure before we wrap up that I share with folks like how to connect with the school, like how to learn more. So, do y'all have like info sessions or school tours coming up?
We do. We're getting ready to launch our recruitment for the 24-25 school year. It should kick off in December. But even before then, we open up our campus for not only information sessions that occur any Monday through Thursday from 8 to 9:30. They can contact the campus, go to our CAS Schools website, and either sign up there or book an appointment over the phone. We also have a student shadow experience that other students can take advantage of. So if they want to come and see what it's like to be a CAS student for the day, we'll give them a student to shadow and provide them almost like auditing a class, right? You get to find out what our professors are like. Sometimes what's important to you and me, Inga, is not important to a 15-year-old. I don't know if we've realized that. They're more interested in, am I going to make friends? What's the social environment like? How's the cafeteria food, right? So I feel like we've addressed everything, and so it is a pleasant experience for our students to engage in. And then I think the real gift to our school is that if a student finds himself not liking something, they have the voice to be able to come and they can go directly to the principal and say, Dr. Khosravi, I think we can do something better. And so there's not a week that goes by that my students don't bring up something that they feel is important to their student experience. My seniors, of course, I feel like they're doing it every day because they're the experts here. But we embrace that. We welcome the conversation. We welcome them to feel like this is their school. Our CAS schools are not here for us. We feel like they're here for our students. So we're really tailored to them.
Yeah, well, I think that was really good advice you gave about like